We're going to create the gasket drawing located on page 3-22, so chapter 3, page 22. So this drawing is going to incorporate the use of offset to create the inner lines within this drawing. Right now, let's just start in this lower corner, and we're going to start creating the outside of this drawing. So we're going to go ahead and start here. We're going to move across by 6 inches, up by 2.5, over by 1, up by 2, and then we're just going to arbitrarily move over by 3. So 6, 2.5, 1, 2, 3. So we're going to start, we're going to move over by 6. In this case, I'm on the wrong layer. And I've already set up a center layer and an objects layer. If you need to do this and you don't remember how, you can go ahead and look at one of the previous videos. I'm also going to adjust my zoom a little bit. Start that way down here. 6. All right, there we go. 6, 2.5, and then 1, 2, and then we said 3. And this 3 right here is arbitrary. You'll see why in just a minute. Alright, so now that this is done, we're going to zoom to get the scale of our drawing, and let's move it down here because we know we have some kind of circle going on over here. Okay, so what is this circle? So right here, the circle, we have a radius of 1.5, and it's located 7.5 inches over from this corner. So we're going to take circle radius, and we don't need to do a snap from, we can just do a track. So once we get our tracking line, again, we haven't hit a mouse button, we're just going to type 7.5, and then our radius is 1.5. Now from here, we're going to have a diagonal line that's tangent to this point. So we're going to choose line, start at this corner, then we're going to choose snap to tangent, and we're just going to end right there. We're then going to take this line, and we could just stretch it over, but I want to make you aware of the command called extend, which is actually located over here, and it's also located under the trim. So with the trim command, you see this downward arrow. You can click on the arrow and you'll see extend. So when you click on extend, and actually I have to escape out of that first. We click on extend, and then what we want to do is first select the objects that we want to extend to. So we want to extend to the circle, so we're going to click on the circle. We then hit the enter key, and the object you want to extend is this line. So we hover over the line, you can see that we extend the line. So I hover over the line, hit the mouse button, we extend to the line. Okay, so from here we want to trim. So we're going to go back to our trim command. So we'll change extend over to trim, and we'll choose these 2 lines, hit escape, excuse me, we need to hit enter. So we choose these 2 lines, hit enter, and then we can trim away this portion. Now previously over here, we would do a tan radius circle, and then we could put in this arc. But AutoCAD has another way, which is the fillet command. So let's use fillet. So we're going to click on fillet, and then we're going to come down to our text box, and type R space 1, which sets a radius of 1. We now need to click on the two lines. We click on this line and we click on that line, and you can see it automatically sets up a radius of 1 fillet. And we can do the same thing here for a radius of 0.75, and the same thing here for a radius of 0.25. So we'll go back to AutoCAD, choose fillet, R space 0.75, line, line, and then fillet, R space 0.25. We choose the line and we choose the line. Okay, so in order to create the inner lines, we're going to use offset. But before we use offset, we have to take this drawing and make it a polyline. So what is a polyline? A polyline is a single line that represents a shape. Right now, this is actually a bunch of individual lines that are not connected together, even though the end of one line is essentially at the beginning of another line. They're not actually connected, however, as far as AutoCAD is concerned. Now, grouping them does not actually connect them. What we have to do is we have to use something called polyline. So in the modify command, we have this edit polyline command, and we choose edit polyline, and the first thing it wants us to do is to select a polyline. And we can select anything. And if we select a line, it says object is not a polyline. Do we want to turn it into one? And the answer is yes, we do. So we type enter, and then we get to choose our options. Well, what do we want to do? What we want to do is we want to join all these lines to make them polylines. So we select join, and then we make a box to select all of these lines. If you look down here, you can see it says 10 lines were found, and everything's selected. We hit enter, hit escape to exit out of polyline, and now when we come over here, we click on it, you can see it's all a single polyline. So once that's done, we can use our offset command. This is offset. So to use offset, all we do is click on it. The first thing it wants to know the offset distance. So the offset distance here is 0.5. The 0.5 is typical because it's not always 0.5. In the corner here, it's not actually 0.5. So we go back to AutoCAD, we type 0.5, enter. So now it wants to select the object to offset. We click on the polyline, and we can either move in or out. In this case, we want to move inward. And then just click our mouse button. And that creates the polyline. Now the one last thing we have to do is we have to add a radius here, since there's a radius of 0.5 here. On this corner, in this corner we didn't have a radius. So let's go ahead and add another fillet. So we choose fillet, R space 0.5, enter. Choose the corner, choose the line, choose the other line, and that puts the radius in. And then we should add 2 center marks here and here. So go into our center layer, choose center mark, choose this edge. Okay, you can see we're set up for center line. So I'm going to undo that. Go into Format, Dimension Style, Modify. And actually here you can see we actually are not set up for center line. We are set up for center mark. but the mark here is 2.5. And I had a student that had the same issue. This is related to moving back and forth between millimeters and inches. And at 2.5, this number is just too large. So this number actually for inches, for an inch drawing, needs to be 0.09 for the center mark. So we can put 0.09 there. And actually, if we go to primary units, I don't recall primary units shows. No, primary units does not show what we're whether we're in inch or decimal format. But we set the center mark to 0.09. Hit OK. Hit close. And I'm just going to go check my units. Make sure we are actually in, and we're not, we're actually in millimeters. So I'm going to change this back to inches. And because I changed that to inches, I do want to check my dimension style to confirm that this didn't change, and it still is at 0.09. So go ahead and hit close, and now I can put my accurate center marks in. Put one there, center mark, put one there, and at this point I'm done, and I can save the drawing. Save as. And we are complete.